Okay, we're gonna find out something. Hopefully this does work out. So I'm gonna see, hopefully, about right here with that one. So, what the hell? That thing should not be picking up in anything. Let's go back to configure. We gotta get that one, hopefully, about. Let's find out. Noise suppression is gonna go back on. Yep. Okay, well, we're gonna go back to that one, hopefully, about. Oh, shit. Let's find out that one. Okay, so we got a few things here that we can. Ooh, nope. Nope, 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 nope. There we go with that one. I do think it was hopefully about right here with that one, so we can tell. That's gonna go back with that one. I do think it was. So we're gonna try that one. Hopefully that works out, but yeah, I'm not sure. Hopefully this works out, but yeah. The post I found was shared on a caregiver forum, buried under dozens of routine stories. Burnout, difficult patients, and long shifts. Nothing about it stood out at first. Until people started reading it. I've been home health aide for about 6 years. I've seen dementia get ugly. I've been hit, screamed at, and accused of things that never happened. But this case, I don't think it was just dementia. She explained that it had. She explained that she had been picked up a late last minute overnight shift. The patient was elderly, a woman in her late 70s, diagnosed with advanced dementia. Note said that she experienced confusion at night, sometimes agitation. There was one extra note on the file. Boyfriend present can be difficult at times. She assumed it meant a grumpy partner, maybe protective, maybe territorial, nothing unusual. The house was out in the middle of nowhere, no porch light, no neighbors close by. I knocked, but the door opened on its own. That should have been my first sign to leave. Inside, the patient was sitting in a recliner, humming softly to herself. The TV was off. The room was dim. When the aide introduced herself, the woman didn't seem confused, just distant, until she mentioned him. She told me he doesn't like change. I asked who. She said my boyfriend. Then she smiled like it was a normal thing to say. For the first hour, everything seemed manageable. The aide went through her routine. Her meds, bathroom assistance, repositioning. The patient kept asking the same question: what time it was, where her sister was, and one more thing: can you keep him quiet tonight? It's bathroom assistance, positioning, patient asking the same question. I'm confused. Her sister was, and one more thing: There was no signs of a boyfriend anywhere in the house. No extra belongings, no second bedroom in use, no car outside. By midnight, the aide assumed the note had been outdated or wrong. Then she heard something upstairs, a loud thud. I asked the patient if someone else was there. She just stared at the stairs and said he's awake. Against my better judgment, oh, the aide went to check. She wrote that the stairs felt colder the higher she climbed, that the air changed at the top, and there was a hallway that felt long. Only one door open. The room was completely empty. No bed, no furniture, just stains on the floor and scratches on the wall. Deep ones, like someone had tried to crawl their way out. That's when she realized she wasn't alone. I heard the floorboard creak behind me. But when I turned around, no one was there. I could feel something like something standing right behind me. She claimed she heard a voice close right next to her. She told you not to come up here. The post becomes harder to read after that. The sentences get shorter, more frantic. She ran downstairs. The patient hadn't moved. Still, she was humming like nothing happened. I told her to call someone, but I had no signal. I asked her where he was. She looked at me and said, "In the walls." Multiple people in the thread commented that's where they should have stopped reading. Most wish they had. I heard something move behind the wall, then I saw it. The drywall started to stretch, like something was pulling through from the other side. Then I saw it. The drywall started to stretch like something was pushing through the other side. The aide described the hand forcing its way out of the wall, then an arm, then the rest of it. He crawled out like nothing. Crawled out of the wall like he was coming out of the house itself. His body was wrong, too wrong, bent in places it shouldn't be. His face, I can explain it. It just looked like it didn't belong to him. The patient spoke again. He doesn't like when they change, he said, but he loves when they stay. The final part of the post is fragmented. Some lines repeat, others cut off mid sentence. I couldn't move. He was getting closer. I think it lives here. I think it's always been here. The post ends there. According to the moderator, update added later, the account that posted it went inactive shortly. Attempts to verify the story led nowhere. No official reports of the patient, no address tied to the case. She decided to drive. The drive was too quiet. No passing cars, no houses nearby, no signs of life. Just her headlights cutting through the darkness that felt thicker than it should have been. I remember thinking, if something goes wrong out here, no one's going to hear me. The house came into view suddenly. No warning, just there. It didn't look abandoned, but it didn't look lived in either. I remember thinking, if something goes wrong out here, no one's going to hear me. The house came into view suddenly. No warning, just there. It didn't look abandoned, but it didn't look lived in either. No lights on, no TV flicker through the windows, no car in the driveway. She parked anyways, sat there for a moment with the engine running, watching the house. For something, for anything to move inside. She parked anyways, sat there for a moment with the engine running. For something, for anything to move inside. I almost left. I'm serious. I almost put the car in reverse and called the agency with some excuse. But then I thought about the extra pay, and I got out of the car. The gravel crunched wildly under her shoes as she walked up to the door, the kind of sound that makes you feel you're announcing yourself to something you can't see. There was no porch light. I had to use my phone flashlight just to see the door. She knocked once, waited, nothing. So you can see with that one. She knocked once, waited, nothing. She knocked again, louder this time. I remember thinking maybe the other aide didn't just drop the case. Maybe they walked out. As he raised her hand to knock the third time, the door slowly creaked open on its own. I didn't touch it. I needed to make that clear. It just opened. The post paused there for a moment, as if, even writing it, she needed time before continuing. I should have left right then. I know that now, but I didn't. She stepped inside, and then that's when she noticed the smell. It hit me immediately. Not strong at first, just wrong. Like something wrong. Like something old. Like the air hadn't moved in a long time. Like, the house was dim and not completely dark, but not properly either. Shadows stretched too far along the walls. Corners felt deeper than they should have. And then she heard it humming, soft, slow, repeating. Coming from the living room, that's when she saw her sitting in the chair, facing a TV that wasn't even on. The patient, thin, pale, hands tapping lightly against the chair in a rhythm with the tune she hummed. She didn't react at first when the aide entered, didn't look at her, just kept humming. I introduced myself and told her that I was there for the night shift. She didn't respond right away, then said something that didn't feel confused. It felt intentional. And finally, the patient turned to her slowly and smiled. He doesn't like when they change. The aide tried to keep things professional, asked her who she met. She said, my boyfriend. Then she said, a long pause sat in the spot, long enough that readers started to feel it too. I asked if he was home. She didn't answer, just kept smiling. She didn't answer and just kept smiling. And then, she said, the second part of the post was longer, more detailed, and noticeably different in tone. Less structured, more unsettled. Like whoever wrote it was trying to hold on to something that kept slipping. I tried to treat it like any other shift. That's what you're trained to do. Routine keeps things normal, even when they're not. She stayed in the living room with the patient, kept her voice calm, professional, and predictable. Checked vitals, reviewed medications, helped her drink some water. All the small things that felt like the night shift was more manageable. She kept humming the same tune over and over. I don't know what it was, but after a while, it started to get stuck in my head. The patient asked a question. At first, they were typical for someone with dementia. What time is it? Where's my sister? Over and over again. But then there was a third question. The one that didn't fit. Can you keep him quiet tonight? The aide wrote that the first time she assumed it was confusion. Maybe the boyfriend was a memory. Someone from years ago. It happens. I told her I'd do my best. I don't even know why I said that. There was no one else in the house. Or at least, that's what she believed at the time. She did a walk through the house about an hour into her shift. Standard procedure, check for hazards, make sure doors and windows are secure. The place, well, it was off. Not messy, not dirty, in the usual way. Just untouched. She described the kitchen as barely used. Dishes clean, counters empty. The fridge had food, but most of it was expired. Some of it, she wasn't sure what it had been originally. It looked like someone had been living there, but not taking care of anything. So she checked the back door locked, windows all shut. No signs of forced entry, no signs of anyone else living there. No extra shoes by the door, no second toothbrush, nothing that said boyfriend. When she came back into the living room, the patient had stopped humming, just sitting there staring at the hallway. Is everything okay? The aide asked. The patient didn't respond right away, then quietly. He's listening. The aide felt a chill run through her, but she forced a smile. I told her it was just the house settling. Old homes make noise. That's what I told her. That's what I told myself. The humming started again, slow, deliberate. Time passed. Not quickly, not normally. I checked the clock at one point. It said 11:42 p.m. What felt like an hour later, it still said 11:42. She didn't comment on it in the moment. She just assumed she misread it. But she started checking more often after that. Every time I looked away and looked back, it barely moved. Around midnight, that's when the first sound came from upstairs. A loud thud. Not like something falling, like something stepping. The patient's humming stopped immediately, like she'd been waiting for it. I asked her if someone was there. She didn't look at me and just said, "He's awake." It didn't sound like pacing, it sounded like someone figuring out how to walk. The aide stood up. Every instinct told her not to, but training and responsibility pushed her forward. I told her I was going to go check upstairs. That's when she grabbed me. The post emphasizes this part, repeats it, like it mattered more than anything else. Her hand snapped around my wrist, fast, strong, way stronger than it should have been. The aide tried to pull away, but couldn't, not at first. She looked at me, and for the first time, she didn't look confused. She looked completely aware, and then said, clearly, slowly, "Don't go up there. He doesn't like strangers. He really doesn't like strangers." And A thud echoed from upstairs, closer this time. Another, the aide managed to pull her hand free, took a step back, heart racing. I should have listened to her, I know that now, but I didn't. She turned towards the staircase. That's when I realized the house wasn't quiet anymore. A slow creaking sound began to spread through the walls. Not random, not natural. It sounded like something moving. Not upstairs, not downstairs, but inside the wall. The patient started humming louder again, faster, almost nervous. I took the first step up the stairs, anyways. That's when the post ended. Right there. No resolution, no explanation. Just the final line sitting alone. And that was my first mistake. By the time reader reaches part 3, most of the replies has shifted. Less skepticism, more people trying to say the same thing. I wouldn't have gone upstairs. I don't know why I kept going. Training, maybe habit, or maybe something else wanted me to. She described the staircase as narrow, steeper than it should have been. Each step creaked, not loudly, but in a way that felt deliberate. She described the staircase as narrow, steeper than it should have been. Each step creaked, not loudly, but in a way that felt deliberate. Like the house wanted me to hear every step I took. Halfway up the stairs, she noticed something else. The air had changed. It's colder. It's not just a little like walking into a different place entirely. The smell? Well, it got stronger. That same smell downstairs, only now it wasn't faint. It smelled like something rotting, but not food. Something heavier. At the top of the stairs, there was a hallway. Long, too long. I know, that sounds stupid, but it didn't the rest of the, match the size of the house. It just kept going and going. The walls were lined with doors, most of them closed, one of them open. One at the very end. I remember thinking if someone's up there, they're in that room, behind her. A soft creak, she froze. I thought maybe the patient had followed me, but when I looked back, the stairs were empty. Still, she hasn't. She wasn't alone anymore. I could feel it. The feeling when when somebody's standing behind you too close, close enough that you should be able to hear them breathe. But she couldn't hear breathing. Just silence, heavy, waiting. She turned back toward the door, open, and started walking. Every step felt wrong, like something was off, like something was moving. When she reached the doorway, she pushed it open the rest of the way. The room was empty. No bed, no dresser, no sign anyone had ever lived there. Just stains on the floor, dark, spread out, old. And the walls, there were scratches, deep ones, not random, clustered in certain spots, like someone had been trying to get out. The post pauses again here, longer than before. I stepped inside anyway. The floor creaked under my weight. The sound echoed more than it should have, like the room was bigger than it looked. That's when I heard it, a noise behind me, not loud, just a single shift of weight. She turned, nothing. The hallway was empty, but it didn't feel empty. She took a step forward, toward the door. That's when it happened. The floorboard creaked right behind me. She froze. Didn't turn this time. I could feel it. Something standing here, close enough that if I moved, I'd touch it. And then it whispered. The post breaks formatting here. The sentences is separated, isolated. She told you not to come up here. Readers noted that the next few lines were typed differently, shorter, shakier. I turned around. There was nothing there. But it was still there. I know that doesn't make sense, but it was still there. The air in the room changed, shifted. The smell got worse. So bad I had to cover my mouth. And then another sound. Not behind me this time. Not in front of me. Around me. A slow, dragging noise like something moving through tight space. Inside the walls. She backed into the hallway, heart racing, trying to keep her eyes on everything at once. I thought if I could just get back downstairs, I'd be fine. But as she stepped out, she noticed something new. The other doors were open now. All of them. I swear, they weren't before. The hallway felt different, wider, darker. I heard it again, that movement, closer this time. Then, from inside the walls, a thump. The drywall shifted barely enough, but enough. Like something hit it from the inside. Another thump, closer. It was following me. She turned and ran for the stairs. I didn't look back. I didn't want to see. But just before she reached the top of the stairs, I heard it move fast. Not crawling, not dragging, running. Right behind her, and I swear, I felt something brush the back of my neck. The post cuts off abruptly after that. Just one final line before it ends. And it was right there. By part 4, the replies under the post had completely changed. No one was joking around anymore. No one was calling it fake. Most of them were just saying the same thing. Stop going back. Leave the house. Call the police. Still saying the same thing. Stop going back. Leave the house. Please. I tried to go back downstairs as fast as I could without falling. I didn't care about the quiet anymore. Whatever was up there already knew I was there. She described the missing. She described missing a step near the bottom, catching herself. On the railing just before falling, I felt it again when I got halfway down. The same thing, like something was right behind me. On the railing just before falling, I felt it again when I got halfway down. But this time, it didn't stop at the top of the stairs. I could hear it coming down for me. Not footsteps, not exactly. It sounded like something dragging and stepping at the same time. Like it didn't know how to move right. She didn't look back. Not once. I knew if I looked, I wouldn't make it the rest of the way down. When she reached the bottom, the house was quiet again. Too quiet. The humming had stopped. The patient was still in the recliner, exactly where she had been before. The patient was still in the recliner, exactly where she had been before. But something was different. She wasn't relaxed anymore. She was sitting stiff, hands gripping the armrest. Her eyes were wide. I walked on the hallway, the one that led deeper into the house. I asked her if she was okay. She didn't answer. Deeper into the house. I asked her if she was okay. She didn't answer. Then, very slowly, she pointed towards the hallway. The same wall the aide had walked past earlier. The one that looked like it was completely normal. That's when I heard it again. Not upstairs this time. Inside the house, inside the walls. A low shifting sound, like something pressed against the other side. Moving. Searching. I told myself this wasn't real. Houses make noises, pipes, wood, insulation. I kept trying to explain it, but the wall moved just a little, like something leaned into it. The drywall bulged outward, then slowly pulled back. The patient spoke soft, almost calm. He's looking for you. Another push, stronger this time. I stepped back. I didn't realize I was shaking until I tried to move. Then a crack. Not loud, but sharp enough to feel. A thin line split across the wall from the middle, stretching outward. I remember thinking walls don't crack like that. Something pressed against it from the inside, hard enough to warp the shape. I could see it, the outline, a hand. The fingers pushed through, not breaking the wall, stretching it. Like the surface wasn't solid anymore. Like it was something thinner, weaker. The fingers were too long, bent the wrong way. But they were definitely fingers. They curled, gripping at nothing. The aide couldn't move, couldn't speak. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. But I just stood there. The wall gave way. It didn't shatter. It didn't break. It opened. Like something tearing through fabric. The arm came through next. Then the shoulder. Then him. The post slowed down here. Every dragged out detail, like she couldn't stop seeing it. He crawled out of the wall like he belonged there. Like that's where he lived. His body hit the floor with a heavy wet sound, limbs folding under him before snapping back into place. He was too long. His arms, his leg, everything stretched too far. In his face, it didn't look right, like someone tried to put him back together from memory. His eyes were wide, too wide, and he didn't blink, not once. His mouth slowly pulled into a smile, too big, too forced, like he was practicing it. The patient spoke. The patient spoke again from behind her, calm, familiar. He doesn't like when they change. The thing's head tilted slowly as it looked inside. New one, it said. Its voice sounded wrong, like it wasn't used to speaking. It took a step forward, bones cracking softly with the movement. The aide tried to move, but couldn't. My legs wouldn't listen, like something was holding me there. Behind her, the patient continued, but he loves it when they stay. Another step closer now. I could smell it. The same rot from upstairs was coming from him. Its arms lifted, reaching slowly, uncertain, like it was deciding what to do with me. The same rot from upstairs was coming from him. The post started to break again here. Sentences cut short, thoughts unfinished. I think it lives in the walls. I think it's always been here. I think she knows. The one final line, it chose me. Sentences cut short, thoughts unfinished. It's in the walls. It's always been here. I think she knows. By the time part 5 appeared, the original post had already started spreading. Screenshots, re-uploads, people sharing it with captions like, don't read this at night, or this one actually messed me up. But this is the one that made people stop reposting. It wasn't written the same way. No first person sentences, no frantic typing, just a block of text added later. The original poster has not responded to messages for several days. Due to the nature of claims, we attempted to verify the situation. The tone was clinical, detached. The agency mentioned in this post does exist. However, they have no record of a caregiver assigned to the address described. We are unable to confirm the identity of the poster, but they did find something. The property itself is real. It is currently listed as vacant. According to local records, the house had been owned by an elderly woman who passed away recently. The cause of death, natural. No listed family. There is no record of a live-in partner or boyfriend. This should have been the end of it. Just another fake story tied to a real place. Except, someone went to the house. A user claiming to live nearby visited the property out of curiosity. A user claiming to live nearby visited the property out of curiosity. They reported that the front door was unlocked. Inside, the house looked exactly how the post described it. Minimal furniture, signs of occupancy, but no signs of upkeep. The living room contained a single recliner facing a television. And then there was a smell. Faint but noticeable. The user said he didn't stay too long. They took some photos, uploaded them. People in the comments started noticing details. Scratches on the walls, long, deep, not random. Then someone pointed something else out. Something in the background of one of the photos. A section of wall in the hallway that didn't look right. It wasn't broken, not visibly, but the surface looked scratched, like it had been pulled or pushed from the inside. The user who took the photos didn't respond after that. The moderated rater update continued. Authorities were contacted for a welfare check following these reports. What they found has not officially been released, but something did leak. Not confirmed, not verified, but shared enough times. People started repeating it. They said a body was found inside the house. Not in a bedroom, not in the living room, but inside the wall. Between the hallway and the living room, the drywall had been opened from the inside. The remains were identified as a female, estimated to have been there for several days. No clear cause of death released. No mention of his second body, no boyfriend. The post ends with one final note from the moderator. We're walking this thread. If you're reading this, do not attempt to locate the property. Do not enter the house. And if you begin to experience anything unusual after reading, please seek help. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. Because people kept commenting even after the thread was locked. Same thing over and over from different accounts, from different places. Scratching inside the wall. I hear it at night. Scratching inside the walls. Some said it started immediately, others said it took a few days, but the detail that shows up the most that never changes. It only happens when the house is quiet. And sometimes, right before it starts, they hear humming. This part didn't come from the original account. It almost appeared weeks later, posted by a different user. No explanation, no context, just a short message after. Found on the old phone brought from resale shop. Audio file was labeled Night Shift 1 a.m. Thought it sounded familiar. You decide. What was the following transcript of that recording? Low static fabric. This part didn't come from a recording. No audio, no files, just text. It appeared under a different account posted at 3:12 a.m. No username anyone recognized. No history, no replies from the other account after. Just this. I think I understand it now. I didn't before. Not when I first read it. I thought it was just a story. The post was structured strangely, like someone trying to stay calm while writing. I saw the original thread a few days ago, read all of it, every part. I didn't think anything of it. Then, the first night was normal. A pause in the text. The second night, I heard something. No explanation, no build-up, just that. It sounded like scratching. I live alone. There's nothing in my walls. The sentence started getting shorter after that. I checked everything. Pipes, vents, outside. Nothing. Another gap. The third night got louder. No louder, not constant, just every now and then, like something was moving. Then, it started hearing it during the day too. The formatting shifts here, less organized. Not all day, just when it's quiet. When there's nothing else making noise. That's when it happens. Another break, longer. Didn't connect at first. Not until the night. The next line is isolated. I heard humming. No punctuation, no explanation. It wasn't coming from outside. It wasn't coming from my phone. It was in the house. This post started to unravel. The same tune, I didn't recognize it at first, but then I did. It's the same one from the story. Another gab. I checked every room. I shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have done that. There's a spot in my hallway. The wall looks wrong. I didn't notice it before. It looks like it's pushing out just a little. Writing becomes frantic. I touched it. I don't know why I touched it. It moved, and something moved behind it. A long pause, then I think I think it's tied to the house. I think it follows. I think it needs someone to know about it. And once you do, the sentence cuts off. That continues on the next line. It knows you. I can hear it right now. It was closer than before. The scratching isn't in the walls anymore. Another break, the longest one on the entire post. Then finally, the lines. It's in the room. I'm not going back to look. I'm not going to. The post ends mid sentence. No edits, no updates, no replies. The account, well, was never active. But people who read it late at night, alone, in a quiet house, started noticing something. At first, it sounds like nothing, then very faint. A few slow, deliberate scratches. And so I've been doing deliveries for a while now, mostly late nights, nothing crazy, just weird customers in bad directions. But this one stuck with me. It was around 11:30, not even that late. I got an order out of a roll out to a roll decent pay, nothing suspicious. The instructions said, leave at side door, please. Don't knock. Baby is sleeping. Totally normal. I get these all the time. I picked up the food, head out, and about 10 minutes into the drive, I lose signal for a bit. Again, pretty normal at where I was. When service came back, I noticed the instructions updated. Now it says use backdoor instead. That happens sometimes too, so I didn't think much about it. Th- I get to the house and immediately something feels off. Not scary, just off. No lights on the inside. Not one. No porch light. Not even though it's pitch dark out. And if you ever delivered before, you know people usually leave something on for you. I sat in my car for a second debating what to do. But I already had the food, so I grabbed it and walked up. There really was no clear path to a back door. It was muddy, like it didn't get used much. As I'm walking, the phone buzzes again. New instruction. Don't use flashlight. That's when I stopped. Because I was using my phone light and I hadn't told anyone that. At that point, I figured maybe there's some window or something and they didn't want the light shining in. Trying to be respectful, I turned it off. Now, I'm basically walking in the dark. I get around to the back, and well, there's a door, but it looks older than the rest of the house. Like it didn't belong. I set the food down, took the picture, and turned to leave. Then I heard movement inside. Not loud, just something shifting. Which, okay, could have been normal, but then my phone buzzed. Wait, I didn't move. Another message. Please. That one got me. It didn't feel automated or anything. It felt personal. Like someone was actually there watching. I stood there for maybe about 10 seconds debating if I should knock, even though the original instructions said not to. But something just didn't feel right. So I said kind of quietly, like, the food's out here. No response, just silently. Then, very faintly from inside, I heard a voice, not clear enough to make out the words, but just a low, slow, and close to the door. I backed away, went up, went slowly, went straight to my car, and left. Marked it as delivered and didn't think much of it at first. Until I went to check it again. The instructions were back to the original. No back door, no do not use flashlight, no wait, nothing. It could have been a glitch, could have been somebody messing with the app. But I'll tell you this, I don't do backdoor deliveries anymore. And after, if the instructions start driving, I'm canceling. Okay, this thing is, yeah, we gotta get this one fixed. Alright, sorry about that, you guys. We can try to get this fixed up. Hopefully, though, I mean, I do think we can get this one, I'm hoping anyways, about. Nope. Okay, so I'm trying to figure this one out. I'm gonna go here with that one. I'm gonna go with mastering 2. Nope. I think anyways, I don't know. Let's go with mid 3. Nope. Let's go right there with that one, hopefully. I think anyways, about right here with that one. And what we can do with this one is we're gonna go back with that just to make sure. I think anyways. That can go about, hopefully right at that one. And we're gonna find out something. I do hope that works out, but I'm thinking anyways. We got this one, hopefully about right at that one. And we're gonna find out with this so we can see. That's gonna go here. And I'm gonna go back with that one just to make sure. I'm gonna go here with that one just to double check. That's gonna go here. I'm gonna find out with that one. I'm trying to get this one, hopefully, about here so we can see. And it's gonna go here. That's gonna go about. Right at that one so we can tell. That's gonna go here. And I'm gonna find out with this one. So hopefully that one works out. But yeah, that's gonna go in. I'm gonna go back to that one just to make sure. Okay, so I'm gonna go trying to get this one. We're gonna try that one just to make sure, hopefully. Let's go here. And I'm gonna find out with that one. I think it weighs about there. I'm gonna go back with this one just about right at that one so we can see. And it's gonna go here. And what we do with this one is we're gonna go back with that one. I do think it weighs hopefully about here. But yeah, we're gonna see. That's gonna go in. That's gonna go cut off at maybe about right there at 80. I'm still working on this, trying to get this set up. So we're actually gonna find out with that one. Hopefully about right at that one, so we can see. And I'm gonna go back in here. So that can go about there. That one just to make sure. Hopefully, let's see. Okay, we're gonna take that one back right there. Hopefully that works out, but I don't know. So I'm gonna find out with that one. Hopefully about right at that one. And it's gonna go here. I'm gonna go back with that one just to make sure. So that's gonna go in with this one. Hopefully about right at that one so we can see. That's gonna go about right at that one. So I think it weighs, but hopefully we get this one working. We can go about right at that one. So I'm thinking hopefully about right at that one. So let's go here with that just to make sure we're gonna go in. I do think it about right at that one. And we're gonna find out with that one. So hopefully that does work. Oops. We're gonna try that one right there. That's gonna go about here with that so we can see. So when you go off of that one, that's gonna go about right at that one. And we're gonna see with this one, hopefully about. Nope. That's gonna go here. Okay, we're gonna try that one. I do think anyways, hopefully about right here with that. So let's see. That's gonna go in. I'm gonna go back with that one. I do think it weighs about right at that one. So we're gonna go back down with this one, hopefully about right here. Okay, so we can see with that one, hopefully about right at that. So we're trying to get audio. What the hell is up with that? Audio a little bit more set up, and hopefully not too bad. But yeah, wouldn't try that one. I do think it was hopefully about there. But yeah, nope. When you go back to that one, hopefully about no damn thing. Don't want it that much so we can't tell. When you go back with the widener, that's gonna go here. And what we do with this one is when you go back with that, I do think it weighs about right at that one. So hopefully I'm gonna find out with that one. I do think about there with that. So I'm gonna go in with this one. That's gonna go there. We're gonna go back with that one. I think about here. So I'm gonna try that just a bit more. I'm gonna go back with that just about here. Let's go back with that one. Hopefully, nope. Let's go back with the crisp. And I'm gonna keep that one. I do think about right at that one so we can tell. That's gonna go about here. And what we do with this one is we're gonna go back with that just to make sure. That's gonna go about right at that one, hopefully. And we are gonna find out with that one. I do think it weighs about right at that one so we can tell. That's gonna go in. And we are gonna go. Wait, what the hell? That's gonna go here. That's gonna go back off that one just to make sure. So we are gonna go back at that one. I'm gonna try right at that one. So that's gonna go about right at that one. So let's see. And we're gonna find out that one. Hopefully about right at that one. I'm gonna go in here. Let's find out. That's gonna go thinking anyways about. We are gonna try that right there, that one. Hopefully about right there, so we can see. So that's gonna go in. I'm gonna take that one back off right there. Hopefully that does work out. But yeah, we're gonna find out with that one just to make sure. It's gonna go here. That's gonna go about right at that one, and we're gonna find out with this one. I do think it weighs about right here with that. So these can go, and what we're gonna do with this one is we are gonna go back of that just a bit more. It's gonna go in fucking thing. Oops. Okay, we're gonna find out with that one. I'm thinking, hopefully, about right at that. That's gonna go here. I'm gonna find out with that one. I think about right at that one. And what we're gonna do with this is I'm gonna go, hopefully, about here. I'm gonna find out with that one. I do think it weighs. Oh, what the hell? We're gonna go back at that one. I do think about right at that. So we can tell that's gonna stay. And what we do with this one is we're gonna go back with that one. Hopefully, about right at that one. And we're gonna find out right at that. So we can tell that's gonna go about right here with that one. So we're gonna go here. I think it weighs about right at that one. And we're gonna find out what this. I think about right at that one. And what we do with this one is we're gonna go right here. Oops. I'm gonna go about right at that one so we can tell. That's gonna go about right at that one. So we're gonna find out what that one is gonna go here. Hopefully we can get this one just a bit more. I think it weighs about right at that one so we can see. And we're gonna find out what that one hopefully about right at that one. I do think. Let's go. Back with that one. I do think about right there that one so we can tell. That's gonna go in. I'm gonna find out what that one. I do think hopefully about right at that one. So let's see. Okay, when I go here, let's go back to equalizer APO. Nope. We are gonna try that one. I do think about right here with that. So we can see these are gonna go back with that one just a bit more. That's gonna go about right at that one. Hopefully, what we do with this is we're gonna go in here. I'm gonna try that one right there just to make sure. So I'm gonna go about right at that one. Okay, we're gonna find out with this one. I'm gonna hit the mix assistant and we're gonna see what happens. So that's gonna go about right at that one, hopefully. And let's find out. That's gonna go about right at that one. Nope. That's gonna go here, and we're gonna find out what that one I think about right at that one. That's gonna go. Let's see. Okay, we don't find out what that one I do think it weighs. Hopefully, about right at that one, and we're gonna find out what this one I think about there. But we'll see. I'm gonna put that one back, and we're gonna find out what that one hopefully about right here with that. So we can see. That's gonna go about there. And what we do with this one is we're gonna go back just a bit more. That's gonna go about right at that one. So we can tell that's gonna go in. I'm gonna find out with that one. I think anyways, hopefully. About here. Oh, we're gonna find out that one. That's gonna go about right to that one. I do think it was, hopefully. Let's find out with this one just to make sure. That's gonna go in here. Hopefully. Nope. That's gonna go about back there with that one. I do think it was, hopefully. These stand out. But yeah. It's gonna go in. I'm gonna find out with that one. And we're gonna go back to that one just a bit more. That's gonna go about right to that one. Hopefully, anyways, but we're gonna try. So these are gonna go here. And we'll find out with that one. I think about right to that one. And what we can do with this one is we're gonna go about right here that. So let's go maybe about right to that one. And it's gonna go about right here that. So we can go. Nope. I'm gonna go with the mix assist one more time. Hopefully this does work out, but yeah. Let's go back with that one. I do think it was about right there. So we can go. It's gonna go in. I'm gonna find out with this one. Hopefully about right here. So these are gonna go back with that one just a bit more. That's gonna go about right to that one. I do think it was hopefully about here so we can see. So that's gonna go back with that one. I do think. And what we do with that one is go about right at that one so we can see. So it's gonna go here. And I'm gonna go back with that one. I do think it was about right at that one so we can tell. Let's go in. We'll find out what that one. I'm thinking it was hopefully. Nope. I'm gonna go back with that one just to make sure. So let's see. And we'll find out that one hopefully about what the fuck. We're gonna go back with the air boost about right at that one so we can tell. That may go back with that one just to double check. So these are gonna go here. I do think it was about right at that one. Hopefully anyways about right here. That's gonna stay. And what we do with this one is we're gonna go back off right at that one. So damn thing. Trying to get the audio where it's not so bad.